力より輝くものを見つけた振り返ればほらバカみたいに笑う顔がどこまでも進ませるこの狭い部屋で書いた物語が紡ぐ小説のプロローグ大空へ届きそうなスピードで歌詞も取らず走ってきた旅立つ夢を奏で始め次のページを開き果てなく続く夢の海へ光鏡がわからずに
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unlimited Railworks, Video Game Choo-Choo's anime podcast. I'm your host, Rose, and here to, this is our daily lives here. We've always got the same cast. Here are my two cohorts, Elvie.
Hello, are you implying you're the main character? Like, because sometimes...
Here, like, I'm the host, right? So I have to be the main character. I don't have to be. You can be the main character if you want. You know, this can become the Penguin days.
That's true. Get that. Well, yeah. And technically, in other circumstances, we're a squad of 4.
Yeah, that's true.
Quartet,
and then there's no main character.
There's no main character. We have quite a balance of a balanced number.
We do. We're gonna return to that balance next time, I think, based on what it here. But we still got John here, so this is a trifecta.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I actually have experience as a high school boy in the past.
Oh, I was gonna say, actually, you're the only one here, huh?
Yeah.
Oh shoot! You can speak to stuff.
We needed that Mav balance.
We need that. We need that insight.
Finally, a diversity hire.
Wow.
No, but we're here to talk about daily lives of high school boys this month, I guess. Yeah, that would be the way to put it.
It's a little weird. As we're recording this, August is ending.
Yeah, literally the last day.
It's the end of the month.
It doesn't happen like this usually, does it?
Mm-hmm.
Or,
no,
usually we're like a few days early or after.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're just smack dab. So they still come out like the 2nd for everyone else. But this is a real crazy anime, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
it's a real kooky time. I don't know how else to put it.
It's a kooky time. It's a wacky time. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll actually lead off because I don't think I have too much to say, but I did want to say a little bit. I guess synopsis. If you didn't know, it's an anime. It's just like a gag. Is it a 4-coma? Was it based off of a 4-coma?
Feels like it.
Like
it feels like it.
Let me see.
It feels like it, but I don't want to assume, because some of the way the skits worked out, I'm like, this is no way. This is a short joke. Like, I don't know.
I think it's just a normal manga based on looking at this. So
okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just a little, gag manga basically about these. I'd say 3, but there are several characters involved. But the main thing is these 3 guys in high school just fucking around basically. Yeah, I think that's it. Like, I don't know how else to describe it in depth if you guys have any ideas, but I feel like that really is just the gist of it.
Yeah. That is the show. That is the series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it.
So, I put off watching this for a really long time, even though everyone said it was really good. And I didn't doubt them. I want to say that up front. I did not doubt that it was good. But, I mean, it is good. It is very good, I think. But I was definitely put off because it was like a very, like, people post, like, the gags, right? Like, where they're putting on, like, the girls' underwear and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Like, a couple other gags, just, like, I've seen them a million times, and I was like, well, what am I going to get out of the show if I've seen it all? I've seen it all online.
And those aren't the best gags. The whole thing where they're just getting in girls' quotes those aren't the best gags at all. Those are not the best jokes in the show. So,
yeah, and even outside of that, there's a lot of times where it's like those jokes, like the punchline being the thing that is memed around and shown everywhere. It's like that's not even the funniest part of the sequence, even for this show, because they are very long, drawn out sequences, and they're not super long, but they're like decently long. Each sequence is like 8 minutes long.
Yeah,
for like oftentimes one joke, but they really do go into it. They really just like keep going on in a way that sometimes it doesn't work, but most of the times I think it works really well. Like, I mean, the fucking Riverside girl is like really good. Her fucking brother is a really good character also. Yeah, there's like it's just like I think it's just like I did this show a disservice by expecting less out of it, and it's not like this is a barn burner. This isn't when I'm going to I'm lying awake in bed thinking about how good that joke was from Daily Lives of High School Boys or anything like that. But it's very much a thing where it's like, that was enjoyable. It was entertaining. It was an easy watch, and I'm not always like big into shonen humor type stuff, but I think this is really smart with it, even if it's stupid as hell. It's really clever. I think all the characters, the voice acting is incredible. That's something that really stood out to me. I really like the three main characters' voices are really distinct and work really well for the gags that they do. Like I said, I don't have too much to say. Just that is my takes on it. Is just I feel like I did it a disservice. I think it's really good, and I think that people don't express what the best parts of the show are online, because its strength comes from the way that it prolongs these jokes and how it just wrestles with itself and keeps making it go on and on and on, and even just the way it captures how teenagers are, right? Where they're still being dweebs all the time, and they're but they have deep shame for it. Anytime they're perceived, as long as they're not being perceived, they will do the stupidest shit imaginable, right? And I feel even just outside of High School Boys, that's just what being a high schooler is to an extent. It's doing a lot of cringe things, quote unquote, but having fun with it. And I think a scene that really sticks out to me, I think it's the third or second episode where with the stick, where it's just the second set of boys when they pick up the stick and they're like, my God, you're the hero, and he's lifting up the sword, and then the girls walk by and they all just stop and stand there and don't do anything, and they repeat that sort of gag a lot throughout the series, but it's just it's really true. It's just oh God, we're being seen. Stop then,
perceiving me, please.
Yeah, and then they're like, what, that was stupid. We shouldn't do that. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's good. There's a lot of really great bits, and I was actually really impressed with it in a way I didn't think I would be. I thought I would enjoy it, but I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. I think it's really good. What did you think, John, as the boy? High school boy. Former high school boy, I should say.
Yeah. No, I definitely, I feel very similarly. I this isn't gonna enter my top 10 or any comedy shows or anything like that, but it was very casual laugh. It was definitely something that I put on, I watched 2 episodes, I had a good time, and then I just moved on. That was basically what it was. It was just here's an episode or 2, we're good. But it was very, very funny overall. Just really consistent laughs, really fun characters. I liked its attitude towards everything, that they kind of they knew that they were just throwing concepts at you and throwing characters at you, and then they legit have little segments where before they go into commercials where they'll say oh yeah, here's the sponsors or whatever, and on the top of the screen it'll say we gave you 3 more characters this episode, right? You don't have to worry about what their names are, it's fine.
Yeah,
the show is just very honest with what it's trying to do, and I especially appreciate that this show is called Daily Lives of High School Boys, and it is mostly focused on the boys, but I think they did a good job of showcasing not just how dumb boys could be, but also how dumb girls could be. Like, it's a very, like, it's fun just seeing how, like, in some cases they're like, yeah, like, it is kind of like a boys do this and girls do this sort of thing, but it's in a very, like, it's a very, like, welcoming way, in a sense, you know? It's just kind of like, God, we're all just a bunch of fucking idiots living on this earth. Like, that's really what it feels like. I mean, sure, it's a lot more over the top, but, you know, you're talking about, like, how many gags are just people being like, oh my God, I'm being perceived doing something a little silly. And, you know, like, that's something that I would say is very relatable, you know, like, growing up as a guy, just being like, you know, trying to do doofy shit and then just being like, oh God, oh no, a girl saw me. But just thinking about how, you know, like, basically the girls in the show are, like, the exact same way, and, you know, like, it's the sort of thing where it's humbling, but it's also empowering, where it's just like, God, yeah, we all gotta just relax. We're all idiots here. It's fine. Who cares? Like, just hang out. Be you. It's okay.
Definitely, yeah, it is. Yeah, that was something like, even, you know how I am. You know me, the famous misogyny spotter. I was like, you know, it's not like yeah, a lot of the, like, very boys versus girls stuff, but again, I barely noticed it most of the time, because it was just so, it was, like I said, these are, like, long drawn out bits, but they're at a, like, clip, like, things are being said consistently, they're moving past things, they're moving on to a new bit, like, you can sort of ignore it for the most part.
I mean, I wouldn't even, for the most part, call it, like, a boys versus girls thing. It's more just, like,
boys do this, girls do this, like, that type of thing.
It's that kind of thing, but it's also kind of like, it's pointing out how very similar different reactions are to people, and, like, how, you know, maybe there are some slight differences between the genders, if you will, but I think in a way it's trying to be more like, yeah, sure, there might be some differences, but we are way more the same than we are different. I think that's kind of what the show was trying to say, at the very least. Like, you know, they switch over to the high school girls are funky section, and, like, those girls are just completely, like, just as off the goop, maybe even more so than the boys. Like, it's refreshing in a way to see something just be like, yeah, you know what? We are all going through this, and we're all acting basically the same way. It's fine.
Yeah. Elvie, what did you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, the show this is a really hilarious series, you know, downright, like, to the core. Like, it's so fucking funny. I don't have a lot to write about it, because, again, it's a strangely formatted show where, like, a lot of the sketches are, like, either too, you know, they don't seem to have a consistent one, so it's like, I would not, there's no reason for me to write for the show where it's like, okay, each thing is, like, a few seconds, or, you know, it would be just a mess. Like, so there's really nothing for me to write about, so just a heads up. But you'll hear my critique and comments here, listening to this episode right now. And yeah, I love this show. It's fucking hilarious. It's fucking gut-wrenching hilarious. And I agree with everything said so far. I think this is one of the very few anime series which I think is actually a very accurate representation of teenager life, which we don't often see in a lot of anime that ironically revolves around young protagonists. Yet they're always in some sort of absurd, over-dramatized situation, like they're in some fantasies, you know. Here's a totally normal setting with totally normal people, and I believe all these people can be real. Like, I can see, like, I can probably, like, if I think about it hard enough, I can, like, people throughout my life, especially throughout middle school to high school, even college to an extent, like, these are people I would have known in some way. These are people I would have crossed paths with, and these are and they're teenagers today. Teenagers today still act like this, very much so, if not more visibly so, because now teenagers have social media. So, and like are born into that world now. So, it very much captures like the goofy shit people will do, and there are problematic things, unfortunately, like at that age too, you're gonna end up doing. Like there were definitely some like strangely. Not offensive, but like there was a slur here and there I caught, which I don't know if that was the problem with the subs. I think the subs have
I would say yes. I'm going to.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they're actually.
Yeah, like
their interpretation. I was like, that's a little weird.
There were scenes where people were just saying "baka" and they were like, "Oh, let's throw the R word in here." Yeah, they over hyperbolize what was going on there, but you know what I mean. Like, but even then, like moments like. The guys like, oh, they're stealing the panties of like someone's little, like that is stuff that's like, oh, that's bad. But at the same time, that is like, ooh, yeah, that is like the age where people are kind of like discovering themselves, and hopefully one day they mature out of it. But that's very much like akin to like the sort of kind of like shit that would go on, and hopefully one day, and you have those conversations about like. Yeah, just like just all this shit like pranks and like people bullying each other. Like we see like all that stuff like come to pass in across the series, but there's always at least some sort of rebuttal to it, which I guess goes back to John's point about like we see the girl side of things too, in their perspective at least, and we often see things like how insane the little sisters are and how kind of awful they are to their brothers too, but they're kind of giving them shit justifiably because of how like also as awful their brothers are. And yeah, just oh my god, the funky high school girl skits, absolutely insane. I think it was the first one was like they're just bothering the guy in the cap. What's his name? Toshiyuki. They're just fucking yelling at him for no reason. Like, they're just fucking like what? I was losing my shit. They're like being mean to him. It shouldn't be funny, but it was funny. And then at a certain point, he was just sick of it because I guess it implies he was just used to it, and he just throws them food, and then they just calm down like fucking animals. Like that was so fucking. Yeah, he tosses it to them like
at a zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just start. Yeah, just stuff like that, like across the board. It's just so good. Yeah, all of them just kind of like all the gags just kind of like end on a satisfactory note. Yeah, what else was it? I was thinking of like the other skit where what's his name? Hidenori, the glasses guy, and the blonde one, Yoshitake. Right, okay, yeah, for some reason there's like a wasp or a hornet constantly landing on his face, and for some reason the first things he thinks about is just bashing his head into his friend and not thinking about any other solution, like as if like that's for some reason is the best thing he can do. And then like of course it like leads into a whole misunderstanding where people just catch them in a very awkward moment where like it leads into a whole like no homo bro thing. And I just think it was like, I think like for some reason that skit in particular stuck out to me. It was like, yeah, that is a very, like not that would happen normally, but like just for some reason, this numbskull for some reason thinks I'm gonna bash my head in my friend's face because I could not have thought anything else would make sense to swat an insect off my face. It was just like a very classic like, yeah, your idiot brain in high school would probably do this. Like something about that, like something about that awkward moment in your life for some reason would make you resort to do stupid shit like that, like all the time. And in some ways, the series like makes me realize I am glad I am not at that age anymore. Because like in one way, like I guess I can't say I have indulged in like some of the insane stuff they have done in this, but like just this your sense of humor too, and like being the people you surround yourself by at that age too, like you look back on it, it's like, yeah, those were funny times, but I'm glad also I'm a better person, and don't also and don't also like feel like I need to constantly impress people, or like being constantly ashamed about like, oh my gosh, I'm being like like it is very much a comedy series, like making fun of this shit and like just poking fun at like all the random things like young kids do all the time, but in a lot of ways, it kind of like celebrates the fact that you should not be ashamed of that. Like you should not be ashamed of like kind of that like weird, unfiltered aspect to yourself. I don't know. It weirdly has more to say about that problem, about that insecurity over something like, get a reference of past years, Chunbyo, loving, like which that itself, again, looking back at that is another series taking place in a high school with teenagers. Those fucking teenagers did not act normal. Like they were very exaggerated. Like, and again, like, we all had kind of had conflicting opinions about the ending, too, and how it wrapped up, and then especially since it had another season anyway. But, like, these characters in Daily Lives of High School Boys, they act way more akin, realistically, to what you would expect out of any teenager in any high school in any part of the world compared to something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Compared to a lot of other anime in high school. Like, like, a lot of them are archetypes. And that's the problem. Whereas in this case, they were not I don't feel like, there are certain archetypes here where we see that, at least at first glance, again, like the glasses guy, but like he on its own, like he is not what you would think he is. Like if you see that character design at first glance, like no, everyone here is very much just like a teenager. Like there's nothing more to say about it. They're not like fitting in a box, there's that whole bit with the literature girl, like the girl by the hillside, like, and that's like in itself like a joke. And that's the only thing that stood out to me. But it very much is presented as a joke and not, like, for straight, Like, she's, like, mysterious, and all that. But, like, across the board, this is, like, also a great, like, portrait, too, of, what goes on in a Japanese high school as well. Like, just to also get into that conversation where I think people... Not saying people, but what I mean, like certain people like have this bizarre romanticized idea of like what school life in Japan is like because of anime,
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, and then this show
and all the girls,
right, school culture festival, like everyone's docile. It's like and then like you see shit like this, and it's like no, it's fucking unhinged, hormonal, insane, like like. Right, like, people romanticize, like, the bizarre, like, pure image of what it is. Like, the students clean up after themselves. Like, oh, yeah, they have the school festival. It's like, oh, and stuff like they're a little more, they seem a little more autonomous with their clubs. They don't really have teachers around, eating on the rooftop, stuff like that. Like, we don't see that here. And if we do see aspects of that, it's very much treated in a very... what's the word? It's in a very non-idealized way, right? Like, again, the ending credits, which I'm assuming is supposed to reference, like, maybe that was part of a school festival. The fucking insane play they're putting on that makes no sense. And they're just wearing these different costumes, beating the shit out of each other, and there's no real story to it. Like, and the song is also sung in a very crude way. Like, that is what that is. Like, it's not this weird image you see in a lot of other anime that romanticizes high school life. This is a more accurate portrait of what that is. Mm-hmm. It's the same everywhere. It's crazy, it's wild, and in a way, also embarrassing. You kind of don't want to go back to it, but this is like actually a very funny look at it, being distant from that age now at this point. It's truly like a funny show. But yeah, it's yeah. It's like smart in the fact that it didn't do anything special. That's what's like kind of sad about it. Like it's really just like this person who I'm not familiar with who the creator, but like their creator's personal life, but I can imagine they're just like, yeah, this is what like high school. This is like what my life was like in school too. I'm just gonna put this out there. This is like kind of the shit I've done back then, or maybe this is like the shit I've observed from like like how kids are today, and that's that. Like they didn't put much thought into it. And as a result, they just made something that actually is shockingly unique in the anime genre, weirdly enough, because we don't see a lot of stuff like this. We don't see also high school girls be unhinged like this, too, which is also, like, fun and refreshing. I like, just to additionally add on to the fact that the voice acting is great, but just, like, all these voice actresses who, like, are just belting out and making all these guttural noises in, like, ways you don't really hear female seiyuu often like do in their performances for other shows. They often have to do this, like I said, this very kind of specific role where their voices, I don't know what's the word. I can't. I don't really know like theory or like I don't know. But like they have to be like, quote unquote feminine. They have to stay in a specific way for what their character is. Whereas in this case, no, all the girls are like unhinged. They're free to be like as feral as they can be. Just yell and go nuts. You don't have to be restrained and to speak in a particular like elegant or girly way. Yeah, it's just it's just nuts to me that a series like this is strangely unique for that reason. Just the fact that like it's normal, but it's not normal, But it's like it's presenting an average picture of how it actually is, and sometimes real life is just funny that way, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think like when people talk about this and call it Nichi Bros compared to Nichi Joe, I think that is very on the nose. I think it is kind of the same type of anime, really, to an extent. Obviously, Nichi Joe is more. I'm trying to think of the word to use.
I'd say there's a bit more of a warmth to Nichijou, like...
that's what I was going to say, but I was like, I don't know if that's too harsh, because there is still a warmth to an extent with the other one. It's just like, that's fine. That is sort of what it is. It's just like a very hominess to it, a very...
Yeah, like, Nichijou kind of has... Nichijou kind of has a little more magical, not literally, but you know what I mean? It's like there's a little more fantastical stuff going on, like, but it's not like an emphasized point. Like, there's a little more magical realism in Nichijou, which I think adds to it being a little more comforting. But I agree too. It's like similar in the vein of like this is very much. It's very much like this is like an average portrait of like what it's really like. Like in terms of like high school shenanigans compared to like a lot of especially compared to even other high school like slice of life stuff I can think of. Like Azumanga Daioh. Like people compare the two, Nichijou and Azumanga, but no, they're very different. I think Azumanga Daioh kind of has like very like over the top stuff in it that's like not reflective of like like what a normal high school day is, especially with how unhinged the teachers are. But in this case, I think the comparison with Nichijou and Daily Lives makes a lot more sense.
Definitely. All right. One additional note in the first episode. I forgot I wrote this down. I really liked in the first episode how they made a joke about how Square Enix and Sunrise are doing a collaboration, so they just had epic, Final Fantasy Gundams immedially. I just think more jokes like that should be made.
Oh, yeah.
In general, with studio collaboration stuff. It's just like, man, fuck around and have fun, I worry consistently about how, like, detached everything is becoming, like... like, for example, everything has to be cordoned off to, like, an isekai quartet. As an example, like, this is the place where they can be funny. They can't just be funny in the normal material.
In the main series.
Yeah. More like meta jokes like that, I think, are... I think they're fun. I think they're really fun. I say this mainly because I think I just watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit and being shaken how that would never happen today. Famous anime, that movie.
But you are right. Right.
Like it's just like this
not because of the absolutely. I think like the level of we've seen that level of like finesse in anime. Like the problem is we've seen it in like ugly ways. Like thinking about the recent Space Jam, how it really was just an awful like from my understanding of the negative reception of it. Just really like a very blatant byproduct of capitalism and how something like Who Framed Roger Rabbit won't happen today because it's going to be like. It's not going to be subtle like that. What it did, It's going to be just like,
our brand has
everywhere.
To be represented correctly. That Firaxis Marvel game, the XCOM Marvel game coming out, where it's like, the heroes can't die because they're Marvel heroes. So if they died, that would look bad. It's just like, come on, man.
Right, like I feel like if an iteration of Who Framed Roger Rabbit would happen today, they would force like a big known character to be like the deuteragonist, It wouldn't be like, we can't just have an original character.
Epic
we can't
Mickey.
risk that. No one knows it. Yeah. As opposed to making Mickey like a cameo and nothing more, Like it would be very much what the recent Space Jam ended up doing, where it was just like a billboard in every shot.
Yeah. And then, we talked about Kingdom Hearts 3 LV, I think, before.
Yes!
Like, our issues we had with that and how that came out. So, it's just, it's depressing. So that's why I really appreciated that. Like, a call back to, like, wow, like, man, just fuck around,
Yeah.
I think that No More Heroes stuff you were talking about, Sean, also. Again, not to talk about too many things that aren't anime, just like
we're
those
genre
references
breaking, or medium breaking.
Yeah.
in No More Heroes 3.
No,
stuff
no,
like
it all
that.
connects.
Like,
Yeah.
it's fun. Yeah.
The Disney
People need to stop
Marvelification.
being stupid. Yeah, it sucks ass. God, it sucks ass. Stop letting marketing people control anything. They're insane. They're insane. Okay. Anyways, anime. I think that's. Did y'all have anything else you wanted to say, or do you think we about covered it?
I'm good, but we did get some questions / opinions. I suppose.
Go for it.
Okay, I guess these are actually all just opinions here I'm seeing. So if you want to send in a question or opinion, go to videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask. You'll see these fine folks right here. First off, Anonymous just, this is just like a statement, an opinion here. The boys are right. Wearing girls' clothes is cool. Maybe don't wear your sister's girl clothes.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's a little weird. Yep.
That's real. I'd say that's more than a little weird. That's like alarming. I mean, I
Yep.
guess like if you'd have no other choice, but
Kwainobu says, back when I first watched High School Boys, I wasn't really expecting much. It had been recommended to me a few years earlier by an old friend from school. I was really taken aback by how funny it ended up being, though. I'm a big fan. So yeah, that was Natalie. Yeah, she actually was the one who recommended the show. So yeah.
Yes, yeah, the Patreon recommendation.
And Gregory Zero says, the thing I remember most about Nishi Bros was how good the performances were from the entirely star-studded cast. Turns out that's really the only thing to remember, since most jokes miss and the official
What?
subs are dated and bad.
Well, that's true.
Well, that's true. As I mentioned, yeah.
Honestly, kind of surprises me how popular the show was when it came out. Damn.
I can sort of
Ooh,
like.
got a harsh.
I can sort of agree with the notion of like, again, like that's sort of what I was saying, right? Like when I saw these widespread memes, I was like, the joke they're sharing isn't that funny. Like them putting on the girls' clothes, it's just like, yeah, haha, like they're wearing a bra. That's crazy. Like it was just like whatever. But like I thought that like there was a lot more smart stuff going on at play.
I mean,
with
it
further discussion.
Yeah. It is fair, because I definitely don't I definitely don't remember like all the skits, and in general one can't, but like there were definitely a lot of skits that did not land with me. Like I did not laugh at them. Like there were a lot of points where I laughed really strongly, like my lungs hurt, and then there are other ones where I had no reaction at all, admittedly. And a lot of those ones that I can think of, like a lot of them depending on just, just random humor, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, it's just funny because it's like a visual joke, or it's just funny because of like the way it was presented. But there wasn't really any substance to it. So I totally get that criticism of like, there are a lot of points where it's just like, oh, it's funny because it's random XD, Whereas there were definitely like a lot more developed skits I thought were funny, especially the whole bit where they revealed like the quote-unquote normal girl of the funky high school girls was actually really feral and an unhinged bully in her past, which ends up explaining and clearing up a lot of things like there on out. But there was definitely some other things that didn't really, the payoff like was kind of like anticlimactic for sure.
I was legitimately surprised when I finally saw there is a quite popular meme from this show of the casually she threw aside a large rock, and I can't believe that was funnier in context. Like I didn't think of it. Yeah, like holy shit. I won't spoil it if you do want to go ahead and watch this show yourself, but like just the fact that such a funny bit, that like something that is so funny by itself, I thought was like way better in context. So yeah, I think it's a good show. It's definitely not like, like I definitely don't think it's like Rose said, it's not a barn burner. I think it's a very casual, just like, yeah, this is fine. This is like a solid like 3.5 out of 5, 4 out of 5 sort of thing, where it's just like, it's good. It's not gonna breach my favorites, but it's good.
Well, that's just another day in the books for us non-high school boys. I don't know. It's been so long since high school now. I don't even remember anything. Actually, this is a great transition. Fuck, hold on. You know what else is some daily lives of high school boys? I finished watching Kamen Rider Forze, which is all about boys in high school.
Oh shit.
So I think I've talked about it in the past. Kamen Rider Forze is a Kamen Rider series that is from like 2012 or something. There are a lot of great similarities I can put here. So it's based off of this idea that there's an American high school, right? It's all like, football, varsity jackets, and cheerleading. Yeah,
Japan?
It's in Japan. They're all space themed, right? So it's like very like 1960s America going to like space
Oh my god,
stuff,
like NASA.
Yeah.
Iconic. Yeah. Okay.
But they're all like, they're all wearing like varsity jackets, like football teams, stuff like that, like cheerleaders, so on and so forth. Anyways, very similar. That show was all right all the way through. It feels like they sort of lost the plot as it went on, but it was pretty fun. The thing that really frustrated me is it was written by the Gurren Lagann guy, and the Kamen Rider's main weapon was like a drill for the beginning, and then they just stopped using the drill for like everything, and just gave him a generic sword at the end, and I was like, ugh.
What?
Well, they gave him a sword that like, you know how like when a rocket takes off, it drops those things down? You know what I'm talking about?
It drops weight.
It was a sword that did that, like, so it dropped the things down to the side, and that looked really cool.
My understanding, those things are the fuel tank, so it's fueling up.
Yeah.
It's and then it goes up, and then it just drops because it doesn't need it. It's just extra weight. They're just empty tanks at that point.
So he does that with the sword.
So the sword has like gas tanks. Like, what's going on?
It looks exactly the same. Like, and then on the inside, it's all like space galaxy themed or whatever.
All right.
It looks cool. Basically, he slashes it with them, and then he kicks them into a space portal, and then they're in space, and then he just blows them up in space, and they die in space, which I think is pretty fucked up. But, whatever. It's fine. It was a fun show overall. It was very high school oriented. The thing that I was thinking that I just kept thinking about this as we were talking about daily lives of high school boys. Same thing with the subs, where every time they say Baka, they change it to the slur. Every single time.
Yeah, like what the hell? Yeah,
and
I don't understand.
it's just like,
oh, God.
it's that era of
how
translation
old
was
were the
really
subs
something.
For that? Like,
same year as this one, so.
Okay,
it was the same year.
Yeah. See, it's nice to see how like humor has evolved at least too. Like looking back in some way, but just like, very frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Even when I was in high school, like we were hitting the end, or we were hitting a point where people were starting to stop saying it.
Realizing.
Like when I was in middle school, everyone was saying it all the time, and then
of course, yep.
Definitely by the end of high school, people were like, that's not cool to say. And I was like, wow. Yeah, that show it's fun, but it's part of a trilogy, quote unquote. Not really. Like it's just like they all came out at the same time and had like a lot of the same people working on it. Of the other one, Detective One, W, and O's, the other one that's ska themed. And I think this is the weakest one, easy, even if it should have been the slam dunk for me. It's just weird to have like a Kamen Rider where it's all like high schoolers, like people talk about how a lot of media is about high schoolers and they want it to be more about more adults and stuff like that. Kamen Rider's usually about adults, like really stupid ass adults, which is really funny. So then it going to high school is like, I am tired of high school. You're right. Like I don't need to see all this, drama and stuff like that. Especially when all these actors are totally like doing the Riverdale thing where they are like 28 years old and they are playing an 18-year-old or whatever. But yeah, fun series, fun show. Kamen Rider's always great is the thing that has continued to be constant, I think. It's just fun. I'm glad I've gotten into it. I know it's not quite anime, but it is anime adjacent. I think it is directly inspiring a lot of anime, so... Yeah. John.
Hello.
I haven't caught up on Dragon Maid. How's it going?
You're fine.
I'm not missing out.
Oh no.
Not really. I mean, look. There's been some Lukawa and Ilulu scenes recently.
Cool.
which, you know, you could skip over. But then the most recent episode had this whole segment about Toru taking care of Kobayashi while Kobayashi's sick, which was good. So, you really do just take what you can, and you just kind of gotta sit there and take your licks when you're watching this show. It's rough.
That really is what you say about that show, isn't it? It's just you gotta sit there and take it. Like, that is...
I feel like such a fucking... I feel like such a fucking insane person, because every once in a while...
It really is an insane thing.
It's every once in a while someone will be like, why are you watching this? Why do you continue to watch this? And I am just like... Because there's good stuff in it. There's... Because, like, maybe 60% tops of it is really good. And then the other 40% makes me want to fucking rip my eyeballs out.
It really is a balance of extremes. It's just like,
yeah.
It's either extremely good or just the worst thing you could possibly ever imagine. It's like Monogatari in that regard. But it is worse than Monogatari somehow. Somehow it manages to be worse, which is not a feat you want to try to accomplish, I don't think, when you're making a work.
No? I mean, you know, I feel like the Monogatari stuff is just, hey, hee hee hee, I'm a little pervy sometimes, tee hee hee. And this is like, I shouldn't be allowed within 300 feet of a school.
300 miles, I think. Just stick him in Antarctica.
Yeah.
You brought up a depressing point. I remember last time you mentioned, like, that perhaps the most important people behind the direction and, like, I guess editing, I don't know, just the streamlining of the series, like the first season, right? This is the second season.
The adaptation.
Yeah, of the adaptation is they were the people who unfortunately passed possibly in the fire incident, and so then now, like, you know, of course, like, prior to that, like, they were signed onto the series, there were probably certain expectations met with, like, okay, here's who's going to work on this series, etc. And I think, and, you know, again, this is just me assuming, you know, just me trusting, maybe they're, I don't know, like what is going on? Like, it's a little weird that they, yeah, Keanu chose to, like, now go full on with the worst parts of this series and choose to adapt that as opposed to, like, cutting them out or changing them. Yeah, it just seems like there's, like, a lot of misguided direction here. I don't know if intentionally malicious, that's the question. I don't know.
I think if you wanted to make the case, it's like they struggled. So we're saying it's worse now. It's not like it was all like roses before. It's not like it was all like a real nice time in season 1. There was a lot of bad stuff, but I definitely feel like it was less bad and it was less prevalent. And it's like here, it's just like, it's so pervasive. It's in a way that you can tell, like, yeah, maybe just because those people are gone, they're not like I don't want to attribute everything.
Yeah,
to
the
them,
more
you know,
fit
but it really is a case of like
people to handle this. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe they would have been like, hey, maybe we don't need to adapt the Alulu boob joke 30 times. You know, like I think we got that in the last episode. It's frustrating. It really is frustrating because you hate, you know, it's easy to complain about a really bad work. Like, I'm trying to think of one that we all hated. What's one that we hated, Elvie, that we just both kept watching and we were just like, this is the worst thing ever. I'm trying to think, because I can picture it in my mind's eye, I just can't call to mind what it was called.
Right.
We just every week we were like,
several, but
yeah, we're doing it.
There were definitely several, and then we just... like, the title just escapes me.
Yeah, I did. But, you know, anyways, like, we will watch, like, bad things and be like, yeah, it's just bad. We're just in this because we're sickos, like...
Yes.
And, like, this is a case of, like, this is the worst thing. Like, it's easy to watch something... It's easy to do something like that. It's harder to watch something where you know there's things that are legitimately good and they're just hampering them. They're hurting them. They're covering them up and taking away from what makes it good for no reason. Just no reason. Oh, it's so frustrating. Such is the life of a critic. But yeah, I'm still going to get caught up, John. I'm not going to abandon you next time. I'll have seen them all, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I saw you mention Elma at one point. Elma's still good too.
Oh yeah, she's popping up here and there. You know, they did recently have that like little backstory thing with her.
Ah, yes, yeah.
That was nice. She is the lovely beacon in this world of hurt, where she is pretty much not associated with any of the bad shit in the show. Like, legit,
Yeah, right.
I can't think of any moment where it's just like, yeah, here I don't want to see Elma. Like, as soon as Elma shows up in something, she's just hanging out. She's doing something funny with Toru. She's hanging out with the kids in a completely normal way. She's just good.
In a completely normal way.
Yeah, she's like she's like playing board games with them and shit. You know what? That's great. It makes me smile.
How miserable is it that you have to say that? That's what sucks ass. That's the problem right there. Like, if
God.
she's hanging out with the kids in a completely normal way.
Yeah.
Oh, the pain. Someone needs to fucking, I don't know, severe therapy interned somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Elvie,
Yeah.
I watched 10 minutes of this because I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this with some friends, and I haven't watched it yet, but I'm dying to hear about it. Tell me about Monster Hunter Delgo. The Netflix original film.
The Netflix original anime film. So that's why
Yes.
I think I need to bring it up here, because for some reason Netflix keeps labeling things as anime when they shouldn't. This was, I believe, an American production. I don't know if they're calling it an anime just because the director is Japanese. I don't know what's going on here. Or because it's like an official collab, like outright approved and co-produced with
This is their
Capcom. I don't know.
Japanese work, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, like, does that count? Like, there's parts of it that are, So, I don't know. I disagree with its definition of it in this case here. Not to say anime, I think, can be CG. I think, but that's not what's going on here. There's, like, a lot more reasons why I don't consider this to be an anime, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But Monster Hunter Legends of the Guild. So, yeah, this is a Netflix-produced CG film where it basically looks into a possible. I don't know if this is canonical at all. It's likely not. A possible backstory for one of the NPC hunter characters in the video game series of Monster Hunter.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Recurrently appears. Yes, and the redheaded one, Aiden. Yes, yeah. And for some reason they chose him. It's like, yeah, why not? Let's explore this character's backstory, sure. So it's very much through and through. So I did not look at any negative reviews of this movie. Like, I did not want to. I might at some, will. I am debating about just writing up something a little more detailed from here for our platform, for our site, because I think it will pair well with the other Monster Hunter movie complaints I have written.
Yeah,
about.
you have to keep it consistent.
If you have not, I knew, yeah. I'm gonna make a trifecta. I feel like there's gonna be another one. It's soon. I feel it. I have a feeling. I feel it in my bones. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be bad. But yeah, this is a kids movie, so I'm not gonna give it flack for that. I'm not gonna give it flack for it doing like kids movie things where there's gonna be like jokes that are corny. There's gonna be like just bits that are just cheesy. There are a lot of times where the characters are making jokes and puns out of the monster names, and it's like, oh, eye rolling. I'm not gonna give them shit for that. What I will give them shit for is that this looks awful. This looks like fucking shit. Like what year was this made? It looks really bad. But that is the worst problem with it, actually. The movie itself is not that bad. I mean, it's okay. Like, it's a little less than okay, but it just looks bad. It looks like something made, years ago. And I wouldn't even say that. It just looks like something unfinished. Like, it looks like, if you've seen a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff for, a lot of computer-generated 3D movies, it's really cool to see the progress stuff. So, you have things like rough drawings, storyboards, and then here's them, what's the word? Here's them, figuring out the placement of where the characters are, You know, and it's like very stiff models. There's no color or texture, and then you get to the part where it's like, oh, there's like now color and texture, but it looks weird and flat, and now you reach like a more detailed lighting stage where everything is kind of coming to play, and then you finally see the final stages. This looks like something that was like still in the second to last stage of like that process, where like there's still missing lighting elements, there's still missing colors. I feel like they need to add on more to like make it look better, you know. It looks really unfinished. It clearly seems like it's trying to emulate the coloring and art style, like with the lighting, I would say more accurate, like of how the video games look like now. Like it's kind of like a little muted, it's like a little pastoral, but it's not quite over. It's not quite super undersaturated, but you know what I mean. It's going for this light, muted look, and it's at such odds with how the designs are, where the characters look a little more cartoony than how the video games look. Like
yeah,
they're a little
I
more
noticed
stylized.
That, definitely,
yeah, and then so it's a little at odds with each other, where that color palette does not mesh well with clearly cartoony characters, which I think are more deserving of a more vibrant color palette, in my opinion, or at least a different one. It's very at odds with each other. So that was like an immediate like issue where like they're trying to emulate how the games look, but it doesn't make sense for the art style they're using, which is more cartoony, and even the monsters too look cartoony. The second issue, beyond like just the surface look, it's like, yeah, how it actually moves, which is a problem for an animation. If the animation's bad, that whole thing's bad, right?
Yeah.
So there are moments where it's like, okay, yeah, the character's walking, character's moving, but then there are a lot of moments where it's very snappy, like it's very odd, and then it doesn't help that the camera moves in weird ways sometimes, and like it's trying to do like insane dynamic effects, and it just looks weird and jarring. Again, it looks very dated, like something like, again, you would see in Togo. You know, or a movie that, like, you know, Delgo looks like, you know, like an older CG film where they don't know how to deal with that stuff yet. Like, they're not sure, like, how is an artificial camera going to move in, like, a digital space, you know?
Those red box
There's
movies,
a stiffness
that's
to
it. The like Disney,
Yes.
you know what I'm talking about? Like the
Yes.
they had like those, yeah.
Yeah, like, they're not, it looks very amateurish, in which, like, it feels like the artists don't know how to move the skeleton of this character quite yet, like, but very much of a time where good 3D character animation was still a new idea, you know? It just feels very odd at parts, like very odd and uncanny. And the thing is, though, like, a lot of the combat scenes actually looked fine, and I guess because everything's fast and I'm not paying too much attention or can't see too much of that detail, like, it seems like there was effort put into that. So, you know, again, I'm not seeing a lot of mistakes or stuff that looks weird and jarring, but the animation is definitely also really weird. So, overall, it just looks like ass. Like, it moves like ass. Yeah, despite that being the worst part of it, the actual, like, feel and progression movie was not that bad. I think compared especially to the live action movie I've seen, and you can still find it. It's there on the website, on the web. It actually is doing its best to capture actually how the games and just the heart of the series feels, and like in a very like and it's just executed in a very poor visual way. You know, it's just the visuals are just executed poorly, and that was the main issue. Like you're referring back to the combat. The combat looks fine, and like it actually does things like showing the different, like, you know, like uses of the weapons. It actually shows like you know, characters in like the different armor set. Like, you know, it actually does a good job of actually showing like how fights go out, which tends to be like, you know, you have multiple people, each with their part, doing things like setting traps, things like setting traps, like riding on the monsters, all that stuff. Like all these different elements and mechanics that that were very absent in the live action movie, which was very much like a generic military action film, like just kill the monsters and not think about strategy. Whereas here, they're very much clearly are doing things throughout the movie, you know, in terms of like actually referencing specific monsters, and again, like using corny jokes, whatever. They're actually trying, referring to items, like, and just like, yeah, just actually referring to like basic ideas of like how systems in the video games do work, and like doing their best to incorporate it. So it actually succeeds in that end where it's like, it certainly captures, I think, like a very rudimentary surface level of like, yeah, this is actually what Monster Hunter is like, actually, like, weirdly enough. Where that falters, though, is that they were cramming way too much into what is a movie, and that is why I thought this was a series at first too. It just something about it like felt like it looked like a series, you know. But it was not. It was just a singular movie. Yeah, they just kept introducing all these characters. We get like very little time to get to know them. So when one character at the end dies,
Oh wow!
it was
okay.
like, what? Yeah, so a character dies, and it's like, what? We didn't get to know them that well, and that was a little weird. That didn't, you know, there are a lot of things about it that was like, what? That did not need to happen. I will go more into it in this eventual, more formally written review about that detail and actually spoil that. But here, I'm not going to spoil it. But a character dies, and it's like, what? Why? Like, it just made no sense. It was just like, the arc of like us caring about that character, like, did not like hit at all within like this hour and a half, you know. It was just a little silly. It was like I don't know, it was just baffling to me. Like, again, that was just disco. They were just cramming way too much in what maybe could have been a little panned out better in a series, or at least, like, you know, just like a multi-part thing. But they didn't do that. They just like were like, nope, we're just gonna put it all in here, which I feel to a certain aspect they were probably experimenting too. They were like clearly not sure, like, oh, should we do more of these? Like, there's something about this too, like Monster Hunter, Legends of something about that feels like there was an intent there where we're gonna do many other movies using this IP. We're gonna explore like other characters, other minor characters from the series, and do maybe other similar things, which makes sense. But yeah, just with the terrible execution of like the visuals alone of this movie, it is not doing hot as it should be. But I definitely applaud them for actually getting the charm of the games right. Like, I sincerely think they did that. I think they did it in a very appealing way that makes sense for, yeah, a kid's audience, you know. Like, this is something I would see on Cartoon Network in 2007.
Right. Yeah, that era.
You know, and that's something, yeah, like Code Lyoko, you know, like, right. That level of CG looks like that. It's like, this should not look that way today, you know?
Yeah, like today. Like, it's,
yeah, today.
that's when I think ever I see the fucking movie of Spider Isekai, right? The fucking monkeys, like, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
like, it's
that
just
was
like, how is that still
sad.
happening?
How is that still happening when there's stuff, like, years ago that did it fine, and it aged gracefully, so then what is going on, you know? But yeah, I was surprised that, like, it handled just content well. Like, it handled certain things well. But really, up front, I had no expectations whatsoever. It just looks like ass. And it does look like ass. There's nothing to exaggerate how bad it looks. It's not an anime, though. But for some reason, it's called one.
Yeah, it is just that definition of that era of Western animation. That is what everything about it screams to me. It is so,
Right.
It is very strange. I feel like Netflix is just assigning anime to all of their animated works at this stage because they have a section dedicated to
It's
anime.
so
and it's
annoying.
just like, oh, well, this will do
Right,
good
they're aware-
algorithmically.
They're aware there's, like, now a strong, encouraging mainstream appeal to it. And I don't know, it's just annoying that they're trying to take advantage of that and, like, just presenting this, like, this is an anime, because there's some parts of it that are Japanese, but I'm like, I don't know, you gotta be careful with how you use that word. I think it's meant for a very specific thing that defines how a specific type of production is made.
It's all about perspective, right? Who is doing the assigning of the name, I think, ultimately.
Right.
And it's just like, well,
Right.
it's Netflix, so... But, yeah, definitely heard what you had said, where it's just like, you know, at least this isn't the other one.
Yeah.
That is definitely the prevailing notion I heard. I didn't hear a lot of enthusiasm, but I heard a lot of, like, you know, could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. But yeah. Ugh, Delgo. All right. Let's rattle off a couple here real quick. So the Remake Your Life show, to continue that, Remake Our Life, rather, just time traveled again.
Again?
To the
What?
future. Yeah, to
Wait,
the future,
wait,
where he
further
has
back?
a child.
Oh. What?
Because
What?
so I don't know, maybe this will be resolved somehow, but they imply that because he has made the choices he has made, he has ruined all of these other artists' future lives. I don't know. They made like a Dojin game,
God.
right? And then like at the end, they're all like, "Man, you really fucked it up." I don't know, and it's just like, wow.
Because they made
now
a Dojin game?
Yeah.
Damn.
And it's just like, yeah. Also, like, they implied,
has
like, this
child.
twisted pink woman might be controlling the timeline, and it's like, what is you doing? What is going on? This is just supposed to be, like, a life fulfillment weirdo anime. I don't know.
Now they're actually entering, like, oh no. There's too much going on there.
It's really weird. That struck out to me. I was just like, why did they do it again? I just, like... Again. But yeah, we'll be interested to see where that goes. The other thing
this just sounds like a very silly series. Like every time I hear it brought up, it's just like, what is going on? This is not what anyone had expected from this, I think.
No,
like,
you thought it was just going to be a straightforward thing, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, sure. Yeah. My other thing I was going to say real quick is that Iruma is great. Still, they just did an episode where they all go to Clara's house, and
they just go to her house.
Fucking great.
They just hang out.
Oh, that was so good. I really liked the little Iruma bit at the end, where it's like, you know, they do the Tsukima, you know, crayon shorts or whatever, and it was just like, they're like, oh wow, what is Clara's brother who is normal? What is he like? Because he's at school right now or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just like, all the other ones like, he's a freak, he's disturbing, and they're like, my god, if the Clara kids think he's disturbing, he must be the most fucked up man alive. Or whatever. I thought that was a
He's
good
just
bit.
Normal.
And I saw the next episode's like an Amari date episode, which looks very good. Because I love to see Amari. Shocking they've made, you know, I'm the big gay liker content, but you know, I don't mind these straight pairings here. I think they're all right because all the characters are normal.
Yeah.
It's just a good show.
There's all a good. There's each a good argument as to why that makes sense. Why that pairing makes sense, I think.
Yeah. On the flip side, I'd say I fucking hate Horny Man who is back now. I hate the Horny Man who they freed from prison.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. He was freed from prison.
I like that he's a member of Organization 13, though.
Yeah.
I think that's funny that they introduced Organization 13 into Iruma.
That's basically what that is.
Although the half robe is a really weird choice because then you have like the white haired lady just wearing no clothes and half a robe, which is like, okay.
Just hanging out.
But it's such a good show, and I don't know how they do it. Like, it's by all accounts, I feel like I should be bored by now, but it's just so nice. I don't know. It's just nice all the time, which I think is what we've said in the past about Iruma always, but it really is
like
just
nice.
nice. All
Sometimes
the characters, they
it's
keep
enough.
adding. Yeah, like,
Sometimes it is.
they keep adding really good dynamics with other characters that haven't interacted before, like Caligo and fucking Opera is like the one that I keep I'm so glad they introduced that one because it's really good.
That's a funny bit they introduced. Like they actually have a back. Yeah,
and every new character they introduce is also really good, like the teacher and stuff like that. Like it's just, I'm impressed that it's so good, and they're getting into more battle-y stuff.
The cryptozoology
now.
teacher.
Yeah, Balam.
Yeah, he's nice. He's wonderful.
He's a great character. And I think it's interesting that it feels like maybe they're like slowly working their way into a more like battles-oriented series, maybe slightly, with how things have been escalating. You know, and I'd be curious.
Yeah,
to
there's
see how
definitely
that
something
goes.
to it too. Yeah, there's always something to it too, where like I really like how they're actually pushing more of the other classmates into like actually being characters now.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being background characters, and like actually now they each have their own thing. Like we saw that like a couple episodes ago, where like some of them even like progressed further. I've progressed further in terms of rankings, even compared to Iruma, or at least like got close to him. So it's like, oh, okay, they're actually making some of them stand out for a reason, you know. And it does lead to the question like, oh, are some of them gonna now actually, like battling stuff, like a little more action stuff going on that might happen down the line, in terms of like each character having their own specialties and skills.
Yeah, it's a fun time. All right. Let's see here. I don't want to leave you out, John, but I know you only have 2 things here, so I'm trying to pace you out.
No, it's okay. Do whatever y'all want. I mean, all I have is an insane rant, so.
Okay. Do you want to go on your insane rant now, or after LV talks about something?
I can wait.
Okay.
You gotta prep yourself. You gotta like, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta do some stretches. Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotta warm up.
All right, LV, tell me about.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about? You can take your pick if you'd like. I know we have a couple here.
Yeah, I would like to talk about Fina Pirate Princess, because that
heavily advertised
came out.
Crunchyroll anime, yeah.
Heavily advertised Crunchyroll times Adult Swim collab. Like, there you go. It's very good. It's very good so far, though. Like, I had certain expectations for it. I was already like, huh, this looks good. And I am glad so far, so far at least, those expectations have been met. It very much feels like an old school, like, adventure epic series, which, I think we haven't seen in anime for a while. I mean, there are some series recently that do that, like the Dragon Quest series, Adventure of Dai. It kind of does that, like, very similar, like, intentional feel of, like, there's like a narrative there that has a conclusion at some point, but it's very much like we're going on different things. You know, there's like a huge cast of characters and we're doing different things on a journey, you know, ongoing journey, and just stuff happens, you know. It just feels very classic in that sense. Like, this is like a Robinson Crusoe type shit, and I'm saying that because there are pirates, and it basically revolves around this young woman who she lost her father in some sort of incident where his ship was attacked, and now she, growing up as an orphan, she's it's basically some sort of fictionalized world where in the 18th century, where it's not steampunk, I'll say that. I was so far nothing to say anything that this is steampunk or some sort of diesel punk thing. But there's definitely some sort of fantastical elements at play that are not quite surfacing yet, but there's something going on for sure. But she basically grew up in like fictional Britain, the British Isles. Like, I don't know what the state of that empire is going on at that point in time, but she is forced to like marry someone. You know, I don't know what's going on with who raised her, who's her guardian, but ultimately she escapes because she manages to reunite with like old friends of her father who are like, you know, we are here to protect you all these years ago. We're glad you're alive, etc. And they basically whisk her away to, again, like more older friends of her father, like this Japanese man who apparently lives on this like isolated island where he's training a bunch of warriors. It's like really badass. And yeah, they're all just talking about like how they all have these connections and like close bonds with her father, and like how saying like, you know, like how she doesn't know why, you know, she doesn't really know the actual circumstances of why he was killed. It was clearly like a deliberate thing where he kind of knows some sort of information or knowledge that is probably like really sacred, you know, etc. Like, again, we as the viewer don't really know what's going on either. Fina, the main character, also doesn't know like what everyone is talking about. So they're very much encouraging her, like, you got to go on this journey and find what the hell there are these answers to this thing, which is like this rock. At least so far, there might be more to this rock. Like her father like left behind a special rock. That might be a key to whatever is going on. Like if he was researching something, which I feel like, you know, again, a lot of these like stories, it's always some sort of like symbol to paradise, right? Like I think a lot about Vinland Saga, where it just makes a lot of sense, where some sort of symbol to paradise or some sort of like, you know, like fictionalized or mythologized land that is like the key to life. It's, you know, it's one of those things where I think that's what it's going to lead into, but as a result, she has no choice, but she could easily just stay safe on this badass warrior island. Everyone can protect her. They're farming and, like, doing cool shit and just living a great agricultural life, but she's gotta go. She's gotta find answers to her past, because also it's clear that there are, like, I don't know, I think it's the British Army. I'm not sure what their situation is. Someone was called a captain or something. It might be the British Army. They're still after her, so she can't stay put anyway. So of course, she has handed down some of the island residents who are vowed to protect her, etc. and they're off on a ship. They're off traveling to find answers to the One Piece. It's not the One Piece, but it's a piece of rock. It's a piece of a shiny rock, so it's certainly a one piece of something. But I love it. It's so cool. All the characters are great. Like, there's great dynamics. I appreciate that there's this balance of her not being quite a girl boss. Like, sorry I'm using that word. But also, she's not quite a damsel in distress. There's, like, a good balance where it's like, yeah, she is not someone trained in combat, where she's not going to be magically great at things. She's going to need someone to, you know. But at the same time, she's not, like, helpless. She knows what the hell she's doing. She's very assertive. Like, there's a whole thing in, like, what's really funny in the first episode is, like, yeah, she's getting arranged to marry, like, some gross scumbag. And, she just wrote up this, she concocted this whole plan to escape. It was, like, really funny. She did it in a very childlike way with crayons. And it was just telling one of her, like, friends about it. It was just really funny where like she's being led to this guy's room, and she's like, why are we going to the top floor? And he's like, oh, he specifically wanted to meet you at the top floor. And she just loses her mind where she's like, my plan is ruined. I can't escape now because if I jump off the top floor, I'll fucking die. Like, it was just like how the execution of that scene was really funny. Like she like has a lot of like moments where she's thinking to herself, and like it's like just portrayed in a very cute way. Like we see like a little chibi version of herself, and she's just thinking all these scenarios. There's this whole thing like when I mentioned Anastasia in the notes. There's this whole thing when when she escaped like her father's burning ship when he was there was this young boy who like saved her. He might have been a servant or something. Like he helped her like escape, and then like. It's they don't hide who he is. Like he's essentially one of the people who ends up being the samurai or swordsman protecting her, and they have like will they keep having will they or won't they moments, and it's like, oh, okay, come on. But it's a little weird, but it's not something that gets in the way, at least so far. But it's kind of funny that I haven't seen like a relationship dynamic like in a long time in anime. Like the guy is very cold, but he clearly cares about her, but she's just like oblivious, but I don't know, but she also clearly like loves him too, and they're not saying anything, so it's a little weird, but something that doesn't get in the way. But it's also, it doesn't like circumvent the main plot at hand, again, at least so far. But overall, it's just great. Like I'm having fun with it. It's a very fun series. Again, all the character dynamics are great. Everyone, there's a lot of characters in the series, and I feel like everyone's getting like great like airtime in terms of like who they are and knowing who they are immediately by the time you just meet them. It's a series I think I'm very much interested in probably seeing the dub too, because like there's a lot of moments that kind of I realize don't make sense, or at least they do make sense, but they don't land as well. Where like a lot of moments where you have like our main character who was like basically a white woman raised in the British Isles, and everyone else is like Japanese. They're supposed to be Japanese, or at least some analogy to what Japan is in this world. Again, it's not quite. It's a fictionalized version of this world, so I don't know what they've been throwing out. A lot of location names that are clearly fictional. So like I don't know what Japan is in this world, or at least what iteration of Japan is in this world. And there were moments where they were like making jokes about like a character mispronouncing another person's name, or some character like a character not understanding what a Japanese word is and being asked to be explained at. Like for instance, Fina herself is like, oh, I don't know what that is. Like someone saying a food name. It's a Japanese food, and she doesn't know what that is. And it's a little weird because everyone's just speaking Japanese, so it's like kind of doesn't land, especially when it comes to things like characters mispronouncing names, and language barriers. So I'm very curious how the dub actually pans out, which I can probably just see because, again, this is a simultaneous Adult Swim production. So it is, like you said, being heavily marketed and overpushed in a lot of ways across different platforms. So it's probably something you can catch on their streaming service. But overall, it's great. It's really good so far. I don't know how long it will. Oh, it's 12 episodes. So at least so far. But it's just really good so far. I'm having a good time with it. I do recommend it. And yeah, it just looks good too. Like animation wise, it's great. The combat's great. Everything like just looks good. It feels good. It's a good series. It's definitely a strong one. I think nearly capping off the end of no. I mean, but it's like end of fall of the season, but not the anime season. Sorry, this is the winter anime season technically, but it started midway. But no, yeah, I really enjoy it so far.
it sounded interesting to me when I was reading it, but I was worried that it was going to be another. It was advertised in the same way that what's it called? The Snow Princess. What's it called?
Oh,
You know
Princess
what I'm
of
talking about from this
Joran,
season?
Princess of Blood and Snow.
Yeah, that one. And I heard that one was.
Yeah, that was one. That was one of the ones I tried. Like John and I saw it. I was like, "Oh, this is bad."
Yeah, so I was just like, oh, getting the same
No,
vibes
this
from
is-
this, but I think it's just because it
very-
said princess and it was heavily advertised by Crunchyroll.
No, that is that is very totally different from this. I would say the big difference to iterate. I think all the characters here are likable and charming. From what I remember of that series, it was like, ooh, everyone is terrible, and like not in a way that it feels, not in a way that was immersive for the story. It was just like, oh, everyone's actually terrible. I don't know why I'm watching this. In this case, it's like, no, I want to keep watching this. Everyone's wonderful. I want to see if everyone survives. Like, I definitely, 3 episodes in, I'm like, ooh, if someone dies, I'll be hurt. You know, this is one of those things. I'll be already hurt. Like, I think, like, you get a really good feel of everyone so far in this big cast.
I'll give it a whirl once I finally have anime time. Soon, actually, I think. So, actually, and speaking of little chibi versions of characters talking about things or whatever, which was actually really long ago, so it's not a great transition here, but it's all I could think of when you said it. Villainous, real quick. Are you watching this, LV?
I still haven't gotten on to it yet. There's like a lot
Okay.
of stuff that like I know has a season 2 and is ongoing that I kind of put off because I'm like, oh, it's just there. I'll get to it, you know. One of those things. It's on
This
the
one
shelf.
is definitely less of a priority because it is like, compared to the first season, like it feels like it's just going. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's just going. Like the something about
Right.
that struck me about the first season was like, you know, it's playing the whole conceit of the show, right? Is basically, hey, you know,
Right.
Katarina she knows the VN that she's in. She knows how it's going to end, so
Right.
she's working her way around it. But now it's like, oh, the VN ended. So we're going to abandon all the stuff about the VN and just do
Yeah.
a general romantic
right.
drama
Like
thing.
it kind of lost direction, so it probably doesn't know what to do now.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of episodes that are like, it's clear they're dedicating an episode to each person. But instead of the first series where they elegantly formulated an arc around a specific character and then had the other characters interact with it and engage with it, it's literally just Katarina, the character from her squad, and then new characters that they invent for this character. So, for example, there was the first arc was they were introducing Jordo's brothers and stuff like that, and talking about, you know, oh, hey, they're getting married or whatever. And then like a woman related to Jordo's marriage kidnaps her, and then it's this whole arc that they keep adding new characters to talk about and pathos for those new characters, etc., etc. And then it's like now it's like the Keith arc, her stepbrother, and he's like, it's like, oh, he got kidnapped also, and oh no, this is his old family or whatever, and here's all these new characters for his old family. It's just like, man, you don't need to keep adding new characters. And they also keep adding new characters who love Katarina also. Again, they added a new glasses man, they added 2 new ladies, like a bunch of other stuff. Like, it's just like, I don't know, like, you have enough characters. I feel like you could just like why don't you just have the game, like the Maria hasn't been in the show at all, is like, which sucks because she's such a, you know, like, she's a major
She's
character.
pretty
She's
important,
ostensibly
yeah.
supposed to be like the like one of the main love interests, quote unquote, and it's just like she does not do anything. She hasn't been around, and it's just a bummer because I really enjoyed the first season a lot, but now it just feels like it's going through the motions, and not even through the motions of the past, just the motions of the genre that it was spoofing to an extent. It is just, it has become the generic VN, basically, is what I'm saying. Like it, and it's not the worst thing to watch. It's still entertaining. Katarina's funny because she's stupid as hell, and everyone just keeps going, God, she's so stupid. This is insane. Like, how does a woman get to be this way? But it's just like, I don't know, I feel like abandoning the crux, the conceit of the show is just a weird thing to do, especially when it's probably the most interesting part and the driving force behind everything. But yeah, now they're just going into like, generic fantasy world. Oh, look, here's all this magic. Here's all this class divide in the society. We're not going to talk about it too deep, but it's not the worst, but it's disappointing because I really, really like season 1. All right, John.
Right.
Yeah. John, what is your Pokemon rant? Is it what you were talking about earlier?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Go right ahead.
All right. I kind of feel bad for having an opinion about this because it's...
I don't know why. It's fine. I think it's valid.
Okay. Well, my opinion is this. So I think I talked about this previously. I might be repeating myself. I'm sorry. I don't got good memory these days.
That's fine.
But just the past few episodes of Pokemon, okay, so the newest episode was pretty normal. It was just like some person some like kid who was like too into the Pokemon lab, wanted to like be better than them, so he like sent his Kecleon in to delete all their data, and then goes what's the fucking middle evolution of Sobble and Inteleon? I don't remember. The second one.
I couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you.
Like, Droughty? I don't...
Drizzile? Drizzile.
Droughty?
Droughty, yeah. It's Drizzile. I remember that now. His Drizzile evolves in this episode. That's basically it. The episode before, though, was just a battle. It was a battle with Ash in it, and it brought up my least favorite part of the show are the straight-lace Ash battle episodes. Because Ash battle episodes are just bullshit. They are... No, but, like, because, okay.
Go off. Go off.
No, they are. They show other trainers having battles. They show other characters battling each other, and it's pretty straight-laced. It's pretty much just, whoever has the better tactics wins, usually. Ash, like 90% of the time, wins because of some bullshit. And... like,
You're right. I'm sorry. It's just funny to hear, it's so true, but...
No, yeah. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, you think about other shows that have characters that, like, pull tricks or do things that are kind of outside the rules, and why that doesn't bother me, but this does. And, like, especially, like, I'm thinking about, like, JoJo's. Like, I just think about, like, why do I not like this,
right,
but I like Joseph Joestar? And I just feel like the reason is because he's playing so outside of the rules that it is, like, outside of anything. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's not just like, oh, I've counted your ability because it's funny. Like, in this episode, it's Ash against Volkner, if you remember Volkner from Gen 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the battle is pretty normal throughout. It makes a good amount of sense. They run through pretty much everything exactly how you'd expect. And they introduce about halfway through the episode that his Electivire has, it's like motor absorb, or it's the ability that if you hit it with an electric type move, it boosts its speed. And so, they bring that up, they show that, and it's used throughout the episode. Ash finishes the battle by using his Z move with this Pikachu that is an electric type move on that Electivire, and it just like overloads the Electivire and knocks it out. I went and double checked. My nerd ass went and double checked and was like, okay, what happens if he uses an electric Z move on an Electivire of this ability? And sure enough, it negates the attack and just raises its speed. So, it's just there has to be other ways that they could write around this, that isn't just bullshit. That isn't just, yeah, Ash won because we said he wins. Like, it feels like lazy writing. It feels like you're disrespecting the character, you know? You're disrespecting the ability of this character that you've had going for years and years and years to, you know, win things based on his own merit, in a way. You know, like, when I brought this up, I had so many people messaging me, like, yeah, like the classic ones are like the, you know, turn on the sprinkler system in Brock's gym, or aim for Rhyhorn's
Yep.
horn, and all that. You know, like, even though
I remember that. Yep.
even though now, like, like the Pokemon games were like reverse inspired by the anime, because Rhyhorns can now have Lightning Rod ability, which would just let them absorb electric type moves and negate them because they're ground types. It's stuff like that just it's frustrating, because you see, like, every other character who wins Pokemon battles, they win legitimately, and Ash is the only, like, seemingly the only one who has to pull this kind of shit in order to win. So it makes his victories seem lesser, and like he didn't really deserve them, and that is just such a weird thing. I don't know, like I'm not expecting them to be like, we need to have it, like, Ash needs to have this perfectly balanced team, so he's going out there and he can perfectly counteract everything that gets thrown. Like, I'm not asking for that, but I would just like consistency. Like, if Ash is going to do this, I want to see everyone else pulling this kind of shit, you know? Like, I want them to just throw everything out the window.
Right, it's just him, yeah.
Yeah, it is just him. Like, if you know, if Go got in a fight and he was like, damn, I'm fighting some other water-type trainer, but I can have Inteleon use its water-type moves to make it slip, and then it'll fall into the grass, and that'll cover it with mud, and then it becomes a ground type. Like, I don't know. If they just did dumb shit like that with everybody, then I'd be a lot more understanding. But they only do it with Ash, and that just makes everything he does feel like he didn't deserve it. And yeah, so, like, it's such a weird thing to get hung up on. I know. I'm complaining about a kid's show.
It's like you get an almost realistic portrait of what the games, or what, like, a games can be like when Ash goes into the thing and then, like, he just gets swept by, like, some really stupid higher level Pokemon or whatever, like that. Like, it's just like, that's almost more realistic, and that's the most frustrating part of the show usually, because it's just like you expect a degree of, like, engagement with the source material, right? Like, you expect, like, an adaptation, but it's just like, it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, either be an exact adaptation or go completely off with it. Like, they are just, the way I described it is everyone else in the show is playing baseball and Ash is playing Calvin Ball, and nobody's stopping him from just playing Calvin Ball and winning. It's just like, okay, you know, like, I get it, he's 10, but like, he's up against adults and he's going ahead, you know. It's not like they're just being nice or whatever. He's actually winning, like, events and shit, you know. It's a weird thing where it's like, I don't know, I would like to see someone kick this boy's ass. No, I'm just kidding. It's a weird thing, but yeah, that is how I feel.
No, I definitely get, like, you know, you're like, oh man, why am I complaining about a kid's show? But no, I think that's a valid point to bring up. This is a kid's show, and it's weird that, you know, there's a degree of, like, you know, kid shows like this, and if you look at other, like, especially shonen shows where it's meant for really, really young boys, or at least directed to, there definitely is always the whole thing with the main character often getting into, like, Deus Ex Machina stuff. Like, okay, they're the main character, they can't die. You know, there's certain barriers where they often set up, like, you know, the main characters can't fail. Like, if they fail, there's always some way they gotta work around, right? It's definitely weird to me they're not even doing that they're not showing, like, it's okay to make mistakes, and then here's a viable solution that's valid, that, you know, here's how Ash can win these battles. Yeah. Like, you know, like, it is definitely weird they're not taking that approach that this main character is imperfect. This main character isn't perfect, but there's definitely going to be a lot of, like, safety nets we're going to give them so that they're not going to fail all the time, or that we're going to ensure young kids that, hey, they're still going to be successful. They're a hero. You know, they're going to still be fine. They're going to be just fine. Yet instead they're just making him perfect all the time, which is definitely again, yeah, I agree, misleading to how things should be, especially in contrast to everyone else in the universe. Yeah.
He definitely loses here and there, but when he does lose, it is because he is thoroughly outskilled and he doesn't get to pull any bullshit. Like, you know, they're gonna have. I think he's gonna have a match sometime against what's her name, B, and I'm just imagining there's gonna be a part where, you know, Pikachu's fighting Lucario, and he's gonna be like, aim for the spike on its chest, and it's gonna conduct the electricity for some reason, even though it's a steel type. Or like, I'm just expecting that kind of shit. It's like, I would just like it to be consistent. I would like somebody to pull some of that shit on him. I would like the other characters to pull shit on other, like, just have other characters play around with the world. Don't make it just him.
I think that's a valid complaint. I think that is completely fair.
But that's it.
I hope that's not it. I hope they do something, because I feel like when, like, you were very happy, and I think most people were very happy when they started going crazy with the Alola stuff and actually mixing stuff up for Pokemon. In the anime. It's just like, it would be nice if they could actually do something cool with the battles. I think that's something people really like about the Shadowverse anime, right? I think that's from like the Shadowverse people, is like they actually do Shadowverse things.
I mean,
as an example,
like, I've only watched a little bit of it, but that was something that was really cool about the latest Yu-Gi-Oh series, was they made it very much like how those decks work in real life, you know? So, like, people who were big fans of those decks were like, oh yeah, no, they're using this stuff just like I would in real life, you know? And they kept it interesting, because, you know, there's some decks where it's just like, yeah, here I'm doing like 50 things all at once and my turn's taking forever, but they like figured out a good way to like properly present those decks in a way that is normal and not overwhelming, and it's just like, yeah, here's actually how to play this, and here are all of those little pieces that go together. And, you know, maybe that's more difficult for Pokemon because it's, you know, it's a lot more limited. It's 4 moves on 6 Pokemon, and usually these people aren't even using 6 Pokemon. They're using like 2 or 3. So I understand that that's probably a bit harder than, you know, say a 40-card Yu-Gi-Oh deck or however many cards are in a Shadowverse deck. But, you know, they've got to figure something out to make it just, like, they need to be a little more confident in Pokemon. They need to be more confident that people want to see how these fights go, because, like, there was an episode semi-recently where it was, like, Leon fighting Lance, and I remember that just being cool, because it was just a legit fight between 2 guys who knew how to use their Pokemon, and neither of them had to be like, alright, Charizard, you are weak to water, so you need to breathe fire as hard as you can to evaporate all the air around Gyarados. Like, no, he just fucking beat Gyarados' ass because he's strong. Like, you know? And it was also really sick that Lance had the red Gyarados, because it was like, oh, I remember that from the game.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
More game representation, that's what we need.
Exactly.
Last thing, Elvie, what's this about a Macross Delta concert?
So it's less of a Delta concert and more of the concert for Valkyrie, or however the hell you pronounce it.
You just wanted to make your little joke here. I get you.
Yeah, it's a bad joke. I will not repeat it. But this is like from 2016. I think this is when Macross Delta freshly came out. Yeah, it's a couple of years ago at this point. I don't know if they're... Well, yeah, before I get into that thought. This is like this is a stream, a restreaming. Actually, maybe it was never streamed before to International Audience. I think that was the whole point. But this is an official recording of a concert of the Idol unit that appears in Macross Delta. And it was like their first concert for their first album. And yeah. So I have a lot of opinions about Macross Delta, and a lot of them are not good. I think I definitely side with a lot of the polarizing opinions where people who watch the franchise and follow it, like, definitely, at least I agree with it. Like, I think it was one of the weaker installments. And a lot to do with the fact that they have all these characters in it and they just don't do anything with them. And it's like a shame. And So the whole recurring thing across the franchise is that, yeah, there's mechs and there's idols. Those are the two main things. And each series, you know, because of how like many years pass by per series getting put out, per new canonical installment coming out in the mainline series, like each idol and the sort of music that is a theme in the series is kind of reflective of the era it came out, like in real life and not in the fictional year the series takes place in. Like in the real, so the original series is very, you know, you have Lin May, who is like kind of like, you know, like from, you know, the 80s, the late 80s, early, not like even probably late 70s, like it's really old at this point, like early not 290s, where she's very much characteristic of like, you know, like J idols in Japan in the 80s and 90s, like that particular style of singing too, and like how she dressed, etc. And then in the Macross Frontier, you see like Ronco Lee and Cheryl Noom, like these two young women, and they very much like epitomize like how J-pop like was in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they got like they got Mayan to voice one of the, you know, voice one Cheryl Noom, at least the singing voice. I don't think she was her acting voice, but like yeah, that woman's career is very much super like Y2K Japan, you know, like if you just like her manner of dress, like etc. So Macross Delta is pretty much, you know, like came out 2016, a couple years ago. This is like when it was recognizing big idol groups are like popular again, or at least there's some sort of interesting re-interest in them, or at least some new re-interest in them. And I think I'm not going to deny, I think there's definitely some connection to like a big interest in K-pop groups, like in with the international success, like the bigger, more mainstream international success of like K-pop groups and like big ones specifically. So I think in that return that connects back to like a revisiting of like big J-pop idol groups, like idol units where there's multiple, like there's more than two people in one. So that's like kind of the idol part of Macross Delta, where the main music is coming from like the music themes are coming from like an idol unit of like more than one girl. And yeah, where the problem lies is that like they just end up focusing on the one main girl and they don't really develop everyone else. So like you know, long story short, like a big problem with I think Delta was that it was trying to balance both two things, where I think it wanted to be an idol show first. So, you know, if you watched any idol anime series, they all have like this format. They all have a very similar format of like, yeah, they're gonna each just focus on the different characters, their lives working together, shenanigans. Maybe each episode has one character, you know, it tried to do that, but it didn't really. Like, it did parts of that. And then, you know, it still has the balance of the fact that this is a mech series. There's, like, a sci-fi story going on here. And, it definitely had trouble, like, combining the two in one cohesive thing. And it just didn't know what it wanted to be or focus on, you know? I think the big problem was, like, a lot of people felt like it wants to be an idol show first and with less of the Macross part. But that said, although this is, you know, long rants aside... Although I thought Delta was kind of weak, and I don't know what that means for future Macross series, the music still bops. Still all solid. Still all bops. And I think this is the first series too where Yoko Kanno is not involved. Actually, she's
really?
actually consistently involved. I think so. But it's interesting because there's some songs that sound like her touch, but no, I think she has been hands off of Macross Delta. But she's been involved with every other series in some capacity, whether it has at least contributed to some tracks. If she didn't help with the whole soundtrack, she at least has contributed to some tracks. But she didn't do anything at all for Macross Delta. But the songs still bops. That is like the biggest, that's the most important thing in this series. And yeah, I could just watching this concert, it was just so apparent, yeah, that, I don't know, they were really pushing the idol angle, I think, above all else, as opposed to, I don't know, just the concept of the series. And two, I don't know if like how the other concerts were. I know they had anniversary concerts where they reunite a lot of the cast members, which is fun and sweet. And unfortunately, I haven't seen those. There's no like official proper release of those yet. But I think this is the first one where they sincerely had like a tour of like a group, again, to sell like the idol unit separate from their fictional selves. Like, you know, like, again, Winman May and then Round Kudge, you know, like, all the fictional Macross idols, they all had, like, things like singles and, like... But I don't think the actresses as their characters, like, had, like, full-on tours or, like, dedicated ones separate from, like, oh, we're at a Macross concert. This one was very much like, here's the Valkyrie Attack concert for their first album. And if you, like, see their, like, music video views... There's a jillion people who like watch this, so it's just it's just kind of interesting to see. Yeah, something that's very reflective of the music trends now of like at this day and age. Just idol groups, big, which I think also is, you can see that kind of in like VTubers in a little ways, which does influence in that like they connect, but it's just I don't know. It's just funny to me that the music of this, unfortunately, was more successful than the series it came from. But I don't know, I guess that helps. In a way. And yeah, but again, I do wonder how that influences future Macross stuff here on out, which in itself still has been kind of like in licensing jail. I know Studio Nue, which you're the Macross people, and then Harmony Gold, which has been the IP holder for Macross because they deal with all the Robotech stuff for like, you know, US distribution and those properties. I know they're making a movie or something going on there. I think they did have a deal recently. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means there's going to be actual like official Macross stuff finally going to have proper legal distribution of material for international audiences. I don't know. Here's hoping. But
it's really fucked how that just doesn't happen.
It's fucked. It's annoying. It's very annoying. It's like, why? Like, oh yeah, it's so strange because Harmony Gold has nothing else they're doing besides that. You know, it's a little weird. Like that's their main money mill, right? Yeah, I like on that. Like I was gonna say, like if it weren't for that, I feel like Macross could have been, and it's big, but like it could have been as big as like a lot of these other mech franchises if it not were for the fact that it has such a strange relationship overseas because of the Robotech thing, you know, like because of like early anime distribution being a lawless wasteland where you gotta do something weird where to get anime or order a few companies doing it, but it's probably expensive, or handling in weird ways, and then dubs were still really bad, or things like this, where for some reason, instead of just releasing something, they're gonna cut it in a weird way and rebrand it and call it Robotech, you know? Like, it makes me think a lot of, like, wow, I wonder, like, about I wonder if without Robotech's existence, like, I wonder what would have happened to this, right? But at the same time, Robotech's existence has certainly influenced mech in a lot of weird other ways too, and like especially American sci-fi too. I don't know, it's like it's so weird to think about, and Robotech in itself just evolving into its own original thing. But if it weren't for just the fact that it was just a weird anime cut of something that was its own thing, like, you know, just a lot of thoughts here. I'm not really talking about the concert at this point, but I'm really talking about Macross as well. But yeah, I that's just really my point. Like, oh man, like I feel like a lot more people would love this series and should appreciate the series. Like, if it weren't for the fact that it had such a strange distribution cycle. And I hope that changes soon based on like recent news. The best thing about the concert is that the girls clearly don't know how to do choreography. At some point midway through, I think this is a 2-hour concert. That's insane. That really puts into a lot of thought, like, oh my gosh, this is so exhausting. Like, but like an hour in, the girls, like an hour in after their like intermission break, you know, they're changing costume, they're taking a break, they're drinking water, they gotta do what they gotta do. These go-go dancers just come out. these backup dancers just come out. It's like, what? Like, at first I was like, are these the girls? Like, why are they in weird they're like in Organization 13 hoodies. Like, this is their they're in hoodies just doing insane rave dancing. Like, what is going on? And they just unveiled the cloaks and they're wearing like fun like 70s go-go dancer outfits. It's unhinged. And they were there to do dances because the girls could not dance at all. And that's okay. They're great singers. That's where their talent is. You can't really sing and dance without needing to sacrifice one other of the things, right? But there were moments of choreography where they were trying to emulate what their characters do in the series, and it was just not good. But it was sweet. It was like their first concert. I'm actually not that familiar with the actresses themselves. I wonder if this was like their big debuts too, and just in general in the acting world, or like with these big roles. But yeah, they were like thanking the audience at the end, and they were crying. It was, I don't know, it was just very sweet. It was just very sweet, but I don't know. It's weird that the music part of like the series of this particular series, Macross Delta, was more successful than like Macross Delta. So there's that. Yeah. And we do have to owe Macross Delta for like a great. Speaking as we're ending August, we're entering September. A great mashup.
Yeah, the classic.
If you know what I'm talking about, you know. Yes, it's that time of year. I'm gonna post the link again in the server. That's my duty to do that. But yeah, I don't know. It's been 4 to 5 years since the last Macross. I don't know what's gonna happen next. Who knows?
I was trying to think this whole time while you're talking about this of series where the music was more popular than actually that. I was wondering, John, do you have any ideas? Because I feel like we've talked about one before, but I just can't call it to mind.
I got no idea.
It's just like, it sucks ass, but God, the music's really good.
I mean, I have an opinion, but you don't want to hear it.
What?
You Shiki.
I mean, that's fair. I think if you didn't like it, but
It does have great music.
It does. It has really good music. This wasn't going to be helpful. I don't know why I Googled things that had really good music that people didn't like. That's not going to help me with anything. 30 BuzzFeed articles. No, yeah, I just can't remember. I feel like there was a show where we were like, damn, we did not like this, but that music's really good, or like it had a really good opening or something.
I don't know.
Maybe it was
I'm looking
game.
now.
Maybe it was
they were supposed to have they were supposed to have another concert, and then the pandemic happened.
And they just went ahead with it now?
No, it's been canceled.
Okay.
They never reschedule it yet. But yeah, wow. Okay, so it seems like there's gonna be another, presumably if whenever things are okay again. It seemed like there was gonna still be another whole year of these gals going around singing. So it probably would have been more of Delta stuff for a bit before any new Macross stuff happened. So yeah, seems very dependent on these concert sales or the music of these girls now, and less of the series itself.
I had something to say, but I forgot it. So you'll assume it was something really smart about Macross and the localization issues inherent to our society. It was really smart. Gosh, that was so smart of me to say right then. Really cool. Thanks, everyone. No.
Yeah, it was just cut off by accident. It was
it was just there was a technical error.
Actually did
it was
say that.
really good. Yeah, it was really good. Everyone was really impressed. I'm gonna win an award, a Webby, or whatever. I don't even. Is that a thing still? I don't even know.
Probably, because nobody gives enough of a shit to say no.
It's true. No one's like, well, we gotta do it this year.
Them out
They still do the fucking Navigator Awards.
They sure do.
You exist online. You get a Webby. There you go.
Let's get a Webby. Next year, let's get a Webby.
We should get a Webby.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll email them.
I feel like you just self-apply to those things,
Yeah, who gives a shit? Let's get a Webby.
We probably could. We probably have a good chance.
We could just say we did, and no one has to check.
No one would argue.
We need to start coming up with fake awards when we're doing the website redesign, just to put a bunch of shit there that's just like, god damn, it was just like, this famous person said, I love this so much. It's just like, you can't check, no, they're not going to respond about it.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Yeah. All right. I think that about does it then. I I guess, John, you can announce what our next anime will be for this next month, what we're going to watch, since you picked it.
Sure, yeah, I did pick this one. We are going to watch The Tatami Galaxy, which I don't know if it's streaming. I'm going to look it up right now. I hope it is. It is. It is on Funimation.
I'm sure it's on Netflix.
It is on Funimation. So, you know, watch it however you want.
You know, I think it's interesting that we talked about picking this before this happened, but like this month they announced they're going to animate the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
interesting.
Now seems like as good a time as any to check it out.
Yeah, because Dawn Galaxy was like a while ago anyway, too. So it's nice to have a little refresh for people who have seen it, and for people like me who haven't seen it, who everyone keeps telling to see it. It's a good opportunity to see it.
Hey, same here. That's basically why I'm doing it, because it's something that folks have told me is great, and it's time to get around to it.
Well, let's fucking do it.
All right.
All right. That about does it then. Thanks to everyone for listening. As always, if you go to patreon.com/VGCC, episodes 1 week early, $3 gets you all that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks all. Thanks y'all out there for
Yeah.
listening every time, and thank you
you.
both for being here. Yeah, it's great. I will add this little note from Maverick, who will be back next week, theoretically. It said, I had one kid in my class draw me Ichigo from Bleach, because we did ask him to check in what the kids these days thought about anime.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's pretty cool.
Report from the floor.
Yeah,
He
right
did
there.
mention, he did mention they do watch like What We Expected, which is
Yep.
the recent stuff, like not Monster. Oh my gosh, Monster 103.
You always want to say it though. I do the same thing. My Hero Academia.
Demon Slayer. Yeah, My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer.
No, I always do the same fucking thing every single time. Because I always call it Boku no Hero, right? Like, I always call it that.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah, that helps with that tongue twister.
So then you see MH. I also think Monster High School or whatever, like the Barbies type things, the brat.
Yeah, Monster High.
Yeah, Monster High.
Yeah, the dolls.
Yeah,
That are,
I always think of
they're-
that, and
yeah,
I'm just like,
like
when I see MHA, I'm like, what? Like, why is this person talking about Monster High or Monster Hunter? Folks, there can only be so many acronyms in this world.
And then when B and A came out, and that made things like, even though that didn't.
That's true though. Yeah, that made it worse again. It's fine. Things can mean multiple things, but it's like.
Look, I'm at least glad that SNK is now
Finally-
it's officially
Yeah.
back to just being the game company.
Yeah, at least we have that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the show was ending. Yeah, thanks everyone. Bye. I will see you next time on another episode of Unlimited Row Works. Bye bye.